Gimli. How strong is Gimli? The one and only of his kind in the Fellowship, and one of the purest hearts in Middle-earth, Gimli is the dwarf who challenged it all. But exactly how powerful is he? Hello, and welcome back to another video from Secrets of the Rings. Today we will analyze the attributes that make Gimli one of the most remarkable characters in Middle-earth, and we'll try to understand just how powerful he is. Being a descendant of Durin's folk, and being in the line of royalty, as the son of Gloin, who was the son of King Nain II, gave him an initial edge against his ordinary kin, as is usual of Tolkien's characters when analyzed, though exceptions always exist. Gimli was, as dwarves usually are, very fond of his friends and family, and that is his initial strength. Being able to draw inspiration and strength to protect the ones you love against the forces of darkness in the world. This is always an important power source. Attuned to his lineage, Gimli is also at home when it comes to being inside four walls, especially caverns and other tight-spaced circumstances. Such characteristics come at hand when finding yourself surrounded by enemy forces in a room with little to no light and little space for attacking and movement. Dwarves are therefore a versatile race and adept at such encounters, as sturdy as they come, using every bit of their bodies to enhance their offensive and defensive capabilities. Attacking with their hard armored helmets with a headbutt and defending with their two-bladed axes is no problem for them. They are folk who are accustomed to working in the forges, receiving intense amounts of heat. They are folk who can work in sometimes absolute darkness, trying to find the smallest of gems with their keen and sensible eyes. And Gimli is no exception, as he uses all of these abilities that his dwarvish blood gives in his favor, especially in battle. Gimli's bravery is fabled amongst the dwarven kin, and as such we shall begin with his first deed amongst the Fellowship of the Ring. Our first introduction with his bravery is when Gimli finds out about the death of his cousin Balin during the expedition of Moria of the Fellowship. When surrounded by the enemy, not even a mountain troll confined in a small room already infested by orcs was enough to diminish his spirit, as he charged in full confidence to avenge his kin and protect the Fellowship. We are also given a glimpse of his true character after Lady Galadriel confronts the Fellowship at Lothlorien, and when giving gifts and advice to each, decides to give not only one, but 3 strands of her hair for Gimli, after his request of only one. This may sound like a simple gift, but in reality, we must compare it to a similar request made by Feanor several millennia before, and despite Feanor being perhaps the greatest and most powerful of the elves, he was denied such a gift by Galadriel due to his nature and actions against his own kin. With such testament of character, Gimli befriended other elves, such as Legolas, and became notoriously famous for such proximity with those who were previously natural adversaries of the dwarves. But Gimli was not only pure of heart, but also pure chaos with his axe, his double-bladed weapon, and a few throwing axes to spare. He would vanquish hordes of enemies, from Uruk-hai to goblins and orcs, from wargs to pirates at the sea, without hesitation, being a formidable foe even when fighting at a disadvantage of numbers and terrain. Gimli also had a strong sense of self and dominion over his mind, enough to even withstand the magic and charm of Saruman after his attempts to sway the group to forgive him after the flooding of Isengard and defeat of his forces. Such a similar temper was also important when he accompanied Aragorn and Legolas through the Path of the Dead and inside the Dimholt, facing the spirits of the dead and maintaining composure while odds were against them, with a foe that could simply choose to not listen and end their quest there and then. As a dwarf, Gimli could perform important feats in battle and in diplomacy, and therefore as an innate builder, he was responsible for rebuilding the gates of Minas Tirith with mithril and steel. He gave an important and everlasting heirloom to the free folk of Gondor, a gift that only the dwarves would be able to provide. Lastly, Gimli was forever remembered as being the first and only dwarf to ever go to the immortal lands of Valinor, at Aman, with his friend Legolas, after the War of the Ring is over and the last of the elven ships depart from Middle-earth.